Hi, Mike DePong here, and I'm glad you're with me if you are. Uh, I want to say that this is not what I had planned to do for the final day of National Poetry Month. Do you know why? Because that was yesterday. And somehow I got a day off just in my reasoning, my thinking, looking, planning out, laying out some of these poems that I wanted to read. And uh, so it's May the 1st, it's Beltane, and which is a Celtic holiday. And it's one that I value because it was the beginning of their summer. And it is one of the things that marks it besides planting seeds for fruitfulness of the summer that's coming. And this is the beginning of summer. It is marked by bonfires all over the countryside, all over the hillsides in Great Britain, in the UK, because they represent the power of the sun coming in to stimulate growth and to bring forth fruit, to help the plants bring forth fruit. Um, so it's a happy time. And what I was feeling earlier today, what I have felt much of today, it was not a happy time. There's much going on in this nation and around the world, mostly spurred by this nation, but not totally. Um, because of the politics, and it's not just politics like, philosophical thing. It's things that are affecting hundreds of thousands of people's lives and will affect and has affected, will affect many more into the millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions. Um, I would I would say this, the energies that I have sensed today as one who can sense energies is that there is this extreme heaviness, this extreme sense of futility. And the poem that I wanted to read today was about healing. And this is what a lot of my stuff is about. It's about healing. And sometimes it involves heavier things. Sometimes it involves light things, like the book that Marion and I did, Poems, Dragons, and Friends. I would appreciate if just one of you would buy a copy because that can start spreading some happiness because this was a work of happiness. It was a work of love because we haven't made any money off of it. It wasn't one of the things that we thought would happen. Um, I won't say that we discounted it, but we did want it to get into people's homes and into their hands and into their hearts to know some happiness. So I bring that all up because the poem that I had chosen was one about brotherhood, sisterhood, about relationships, and healing is part of this whole deal. At the second that we became a human being, we had ego, and we knew coming into this world, we knew that because we have ego along with heart, that healing was going to be necessary. Doesn't mean that it's the only thing of life, but as we heal, we appreciate more and more because as we heal, we hear heart and we live in heart energy. And that's what this is all about. Because of the energy, the abilities that I have, though, and my heart energy, I was feeling um, this sense of heaviness today. So the poem that I was going to read, I was just like a little bit ago, I was sitting outside talking to the spirits and my own heart. And I'm going to read a poem from the book that I showed you from Poems, Dragons, and Friends, because sometimes so much of what is going on is in the mind, and so much of politics and government is in the mind. It's what people think. What the economy is based on. So much of opinion or what people believe is going to happen. It doesn't have to be like that. It really doesn't have to be like that. But what does have to happen if we want happiness is that we start listening to our own heart. We awaken to heart. We awaken to our creativity, to our divinity. We awaken to our abilities to face times like this and challenges like this and call on the spirits and call on our own heart and find a way through and care for one another. That can't happen. And that's what the poem I was going to read is about. That can't happen until we know how to care for ourselves. And it's not by denying other people. It's not by belittling, oppressing, expressing bias and prejudice and passing laws and uh, uh, making decrees about this will not happen anymore. These things are all the bullshit about woke. You know what? You better be woke to your own heart, or you're screwed in terms of living the life that you wanted to come here to live. If you haven't until now, guess what? The second that you know heart, you realize none of anything you've experienced is wasted. None of it. And you can start indulging in other things. And this poem that I want to read to you that is near the end of the book is about, well, why don't we just see what it's about? The title of the poem is Wall Ball, a Childhood Game. Orb of hissing gas. I cannot hear the hissing, but I can feel the hiss of the red-orange ball hanging, suspended in time, if only for a few seconds. It cannot be truly suspended, or all else as we know it would also be suspended. And the traffic 12 floors below this balcony darts and weaves and honks on, and our globe continues its orbit. It is only a suspension of the mind. A suspension of the brightly glowing reddish hues over the Gulf of Mexico, with Venus visible at the 10 o'clock position in relation to the orb. But the orb is not a clock. The red rubber ball conjures childhood joys. With insatiable impulse, I want to grab it and bounce it over and over until I am exhausted, bounce it off the flawless azure wall behind it while Venus's twinkling amusement chuckles at the little boy at play. The little boy I remember. The little boy I am happy to realize is still here, brimming with enthusiasm, ready to grab a ball or the cosmos and play. I'll try to show this to you. Here's some of the illustrations that Marion did for this poem that the dragons wanted us to know their vision, their view of what was going on. So at any rate, there's the other side. uh, Obviously, you can't grab the sun, and the sun doesn't stand still in the way we would count it. But what can happen is I can hear my heart and say, what you're feeling today is not just you, it is the burdens and the ugliness that has been wrought by so many others. And then the ones who are suffering are the ones who need this ability to hear their heart. They feel this heaviness. But when you see some of the videos of families, of children in other parts of the world where the wars have torn their countries apart, have leveled their homes, but they do not leave the land. They do not leave the spirits that are there. They want to stay and remain. They want to rebuild. Those people are the ones that I want to read the wall ball for, because we can know they are the ones who know that somehow to get through this, you have to elevate the frequencies you're experiencing, or you just can't get through it. If you just listen to ego, ego will tell you be angry. Ego will tell you hate. Ego will tell you you've got to destroy those forces that are causing all of this. And some of that might happen. I don't know. But what I do know is this. I do know that this is a world of spirit. There are all these things that manifest that people have chosen ego over spirit, over heart. And what I have to do as an individual is awaken to who I am, awaken to what I am, awaken to what I create, to my divinity, to my ability to create, to my ability to even have righteous anger. But then to know that the end of it, if the end of what you're feeling and doing, the end of what I'm feeling and doing isn't love, then there's a problem. Then it's ego. And that's always going to result in more hurt, in living lower life energies. And again, I'm not even going to say that it's wrong or sinful. Do not like that term. that it's wrong because people will have the consequence, experience the consequences of listening to heart or not listening to heart. And I'm telling you, life's a lot better when you listen to heart. Not easier, not always easier, especially in these times. But I want you to think about it. Think about that inner child that's in you, like mine, like I considered it when I wrote that poem. Think about how that inner child wants to be free and understood what freedom is and understood what joy is, understood how to relate to the whole cosmos, to the sun itself on this day that celebrates the sun in Celtic legend and Celtic belief. So until next time, and I'm not sure when that might be, because I do have other poems that I didn't get to in the month of April. Uh, until then, listen to your heart, enter into the healing path for yourself, and start enjoying the life that we do have that is right there with you right now, even though it might not seem very hopeful, very helpful. It is. And you can appreciate it, you can evaluate it in love. So until next time, love and peace to you.